Hello, everybody. The topic I'm going to teach you now is finding the tax burden when total tax burden falls on producer. And there are two conditions when total tax burden falls on producer. The one situation number one is perfectly elastic demand, and situation number two is, or condition number two is perfectly inelastic supply. When demand is perfectly elastic, how total tax burden will fall on producer, we can have a look on this graph. We can use this economic model to find this scenario. We have quantity on x, we have price on y-axis. This is demand curve, which is horizontal straight line. It shows that demand is perfectly elastic. Now we can draw a normal supply curve which is positively sloped, and this is supply curve S. Equilibrium is initially at point E where quantity is Q. Now if government imposes indirect tax, then supply will shift to the left, and this is the basic principle of demand and supply. So new supply curve is S1. As a result, equilibrium will move to A1, and now to find out per unit tax, we have to draw perpendicular from E1 to initial supply curve. The vertical gap between two supply curves is basically per unit tax. So let's say this is point A. So E1 to A is the per unit tax, this much. And to find out total amount of tax, we have to multiply it with the base. So this is base. Let's say now price is P2, and P to P2 is per unit tax, or E1 to A is also per unit tax. If we have to find out total amount of tax, then we can multiply height and base. So total amount of tax will be P, E1, A and P2. Now since entire tax is below the initial equilibrium price, so total tax will be paid by the producer. Okay, so we can write its reading here. Per unit tax is the perpendicular E1A, or the perpendicular P2, and total amount of tax is P, E1, A and P2. And this tax is completely paid by the producer, so total tax P, E1, A and P2 is paid by the producer, and tax burden on consumer in this case is zero, because entire tax burden falls on uh, producer.